Happy full moon and lunar eclipse. I have been feeling just this immense buzzing of everything. And I just wanted to talk quickly. I know it's a little late if you're on the East Coast or wherever you are, if you're not in Pacific time, but there is just so much planetary energy happening right now. It is absolutely unbelievable. You are seeing direct correlations in the political ongoings that are happening and the stars and how the planets are aligned. So I really just wanted to let you know that this is not just something that you're feeling. If you're feeling the tension, if you're feeling something impending, if you are seeing things a little differently, this is something that's happening with the arrangement of the celestial bodies. And because of this, we can become victim to our emotions, especially things like aggression, irritation, anger, angst, depression, even. All these extremes are really easily felt with what's happening. And then on top of it, we have this full moon lunar eclipse, which all brings together this sense of inner self, of shadow, of inner exploration, of making it through the night, a hunger towards ridding of one and coming of another, but still in a majestic, honorary fashion. I hope that doesn't sound too out there. But there is all of these things combined. So ourselves are plagued, if you are in that phase of your life, or enlightened, being drawn in and fueled by those inner workings, that self-exploration, that self-realization. And then we have a planetary shift that's occurring. So human consciousness, planetary vibration, collective influence, is all coming in that same moment, in that same feeling, in that same opposition. And this is all happening at one time. We have a bunch of different things going on with the planets happening and just certain alignments going into play. And with that, there's going to be a lot of kind of just big sways one direction or the other, and this can happen on a huge scale because of where we are in the world and what is happening. But I also want to remind you that everything is happening for a reason. Even when things seem really bad or stuff in society is happening that is really bad, you have to look at it that it teaches the collective a lesson when it does happen. It teaches us to pay attention more. It brings us all together. Every person that is in something, involved in something, moving forward towards something, is doing it with their divine presence, their divine influence. And that holds with it immense value, because just like the do-gooders in the world are doing what they should be doing, are fitting a certain piece of the puzzle, are fitting that certain little niche that they need to keep the collective moving, so are the people who aren't up to good and who have alternative motives. Their alternative motives are just as important to the whole system as the good motives, because they all play a key role. And the universe isn't biased to politics, isn't biased to the people who are bad. It takes that intent and it goes with it. And the planet presents us with things that are needed as we need them as a collective, as we are influenced by them, as the ideas and thoughts need to come to light. The universe provides that for the collective, for the planet, whether it be through individual influence, through massive influence, through the teaching of a lesson, through everything that's occurring. There is a pinpoint reason why it is. There is a pattern. There is a light. There is a darkness. It is all one. None can exist without the alternative or the opposition. And why I'm saying this is, just as you are feeling this shift, the whole collective is feeling this shift, and we are all going through these things. And yes, each person, it reacts with differently, but each person's reaction is the piece of the puzzle. And when we have moons that surrender us to the inner work, we see things differently. We have, depending on where you are in your journey, you have a different filter. If you're open to your shadow, if you are facing your grime and your gunk, if you're facing all of that head on and you're ready for it, you're going to have a lot different of a reaction than someone who isn't. And to someone who's inner work, they kind of anger when they get pulled into it, or when they reminisce, or that consciousness comes back to make them aware of things that need to be worked on. They get anger or pull away. But each person is in their own phase, in their own time. And the biggest thing is how are you going to take this ride? How are you going to view this collective shift? Are you going to hold anger with yourself and others because of it? Or are you going to see everything as a lesson? That all on a collective level is going to do with where you are on a personal level, okay? And once you figure out what that is and who you are right here, and that's why pushing inwardly is so important right now, because of this planetary collective shift. Because if you are not sure, you don't even have to be sure, because everything is unsure. But if you don't know if you can face your own darkness, how are you going to face the world's darkness, basically? And I'm not saying that something is coming specifically, because I can't tell you what that is, but I can tell you something is coming, in a sense of there is going to be a lot of high volume emotion, a lot of high volume chaos, a lot of pick and choose a side, a lot of bad, good, a lot of debate and deconstruction of society, because that's where we're at, in a sense, so we can rebuild. And that's why knowing where you're at inside with your own darkness is going to be so prevalent and so important. And it's really going to hold the basis for which direction you're going to go once you're out in that chaos. Because we can only control so much. And if we are controlling, I don't really like the word controlling, because we're always surrendering to ourselves as well. If we understand ourselves enough to be at the point where we can look at ourselves and pull from ourselves and grasp everything we've been hiding from ourselves so frequently, and see it and learn from it, we're going to start to see the world a little bit differently. And that's going to be important right now, because where you're at is going to determine how you view society, and how you let society affect you, and how you let the bullshit that's happening in the world affect you, and how you see that it's not really bullshit, because this is all happening because of actions that were taken and chosen as a collective. So even if you don't agree or you're angry with it, everything has to happen for a reason, and the universe makes no mistakes. And I say that because everything is always changing constantly, so no mistake can be mad, because everything in the moment is what it is, and that's all that's currently existing is the moment. And it's a very important time, and it's going to be a time to test you. 2020 itself has to do with your sight. And I don't mean looking. I mean truly seeing. And it's going to be potent. And it's going to throw the things at you that you've been hiding from. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be brutally honest with you, because like I said in my post, I'm done with the fluff. If you cannot face what you are running from in your own mind, nothing else is going to happen how you want it. I'm sorry, it's not. You're not going to be able to manifest things. You can't manifest your desires if you don't desire yourself, if you aren't fulfilled within yourself, if you haven't healed parts of yourself, because all money does is amplify who you already are. And if you are a hurt person, if you are a victim, if you are making the choice to stand still in the light of who you once were, that is only going to be amplified by any money that you bring in. So at that point, the money's fucking pointless, okay? You have to know that the only person that exists is the person you are now. And you can face somebody in a character in a movie. You can face a character in a book. And that's who your past self is. That's your shadow is just pieces of those people. Those people. You're not those people anymore. You're this person in this moment. And how you're going to ride this wave is going to determine so much. So you need to surrender to you, surrender inward, because the only way you will activate your true eye and be able to see things for what they are out there and why they are the way they are is if you can see yourself for who you truly are and all the wonderful pieces that make you up. Okay, sorry if that got a little intense there. I've been having a lot of channeling, a lot of energy, a lot of just need to share that's been coming through. And this is completely unplanned and it just needed to be said. And like I said, things are going to be changing. I am being pulled more and more and more to the dark truth that other people, really don't like to look at or see the benefit in. I find all benefit in it. I find all power from the negative space of what you run from. Because the negative space, the black, that's the outline, the light, And I just thought about that when I'm looking at this tapestry on my wall. It's a dark circle, and the Om is cut out of it. That little bit of brightness is a piece of the darkness that was cut away. So think about that. Everybody have a wonderful full moon. Get a big bunch of water, put it in glass, put it out there. Get your crystals going. Give your house a wonderful smudge. Feel. Be. That's all there is. With the power of 3. So mote it be.